Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I'm back on the LS heads here, and I'm just going to run a few things by you guys. And I talked about this in one of my other segments about cutting the boss back to the plug, the high spots for detonation. And I didn't go into a lot of detail about it, but as you can see, these are rounded off, but that's better than nothing. But what's better than something is if you lay it back like this. So it'd be good if you guys just rounded it off like this here, because anybody that has these heads understand that they come up flat, they have a high spot here, and it's a peak, and it has another peak here. So even though this doesn't look pretty, it's efficient. More efficient than factory. But if you can take the time to do this and make a nice little sweep by your valve seat and round this off, and I rounded all of this back, and of course it doesn't look exactly the same on film here, but because this is actually flat here. Now it looks like a peak, but if I hold this bit, you guys can see that it goes flat right here. Now in the flow number world, they say leaving this peak here helps keep and divide the air from going from the intake to the exhaust. So a lot of people use that concept. I'm a detonation person. I worry about detonation. So I knock this back, and I don't worry about keeping that kind of like a divider concept, because that's what it kind of is. But if you guys look real close, you'll see how that peaks up right there. Hot spot, fellas, like I keep telling you, and you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm doing these heads, and I just think that somebody might be missing out every time I do these things. But I do want you guys to see this. I also put more area over here for that to breathe by the plug boss. And another thing I want to show you guys is this. That air can move around this chamber a lot easier without this. So I'm going to lay this bit here so you can see the difference in how, well, let me try if I can do a fair assessment here. I have this so rounded back, it's hard to hold this here now, because that's what I did. I put a sweep on it, and it's all tapered in. So this is what you would have here, and it's very round, guys, as far as the air moving by this. And as far as the air moving by this, like I said, even though this would be better, which I see people do exactly this. They'll just knock the sharp edges off. And speaking of people, I've done that. Why? Well, like I said, it's better than nothing. And it still is a big help. Just taking the sharp edges off, guys, you're knocking it halfway home. I use that term a lot. But anytime you do something and you're making it at least 50% better, which you're doing in the world of detonation, as far as I'm concerned, taking any of them high spots off is a good thing. But guys, I think we picked up some flow here. If you look at the difference, how that air can move around the valve here and around the back here. Now they say back here is not good to do, but as far as flow numbers, but I am an efficient combustion chamber guy. I cannot worry about the flow number when it comes to knowing that this chamber is better off tapered back all the way around. And I'll take the loss. If there's a loss in flow numbers, I'll take it, because the timing comes into play. And I've mentioned this before, when you can put your timing and get it where you need it the most, well, you're going to pick up more horsepower than what you'd pick up with these flow numbers, as far as what a little bit this would be, and what more you could pick up as far as the timing goes, how efficient the combustion chamber would be. Well, to the stab at it, I would say a flow number, you might lose a horsepower or two, where the combustion chamber not being able to run the timing where you want it. I said before, it could be worth 20 horsepower, and with power adders, it could be worth 50 or more. That's right. Ask anybody with a turbo that's really good tuning and that really knows what they're doing, and you will hear somebody say they've picked up 50 horsepower. You might hear even more than that to somebody that really knows what they're doing. So I'm not going to spend all night on showing you guys this, because I just mentioned that I cut this back and I kind of left you guys hanging because I said I'm going to lay it back. So I thought I'd show you guys by what I mean by laying it back. So, and believe it or not, guys, there's like 2 hours into this, and I have to be careful not to hit the seat. Even though the seats are messed up, they're going to have to be redone. You can see how pitted they are. So I hope I can even get this out for my friend, because I don't know. I think I might need my buddy Ed to give me a little advice on this, because if you guys haven't seen Ed machine, then you need to look him up, because that's what he does. All of this work that we need done, and he's one of the guys I'm very impressed with. You don't see people go the extra mile much anymore. There's a few guys out there, but I mean, for the most part, and he is one guy that I am very impressed with, and you guys would really enjoy putting his segments on. So yeah, put on Ed's machine. And guys, look at these valves. I mean, I can't really get it to show up here, and it's completely filled in with carbon, because if you look at one that I cleaned up here, you'll see the difference. And I'm hoping by the time I clean these up and then lap them in, I'm hoping they're okay. But to be honest, I think these actually should go to a machine shop and be going over professionally with the machine. Why do I say that? You'll think, well, you do it, Terry. Yeah, I do it this way. And the most important thing is this, and the seat. Well, that's what I think. The porting is important, and all the work we do here is important, but if we don't have this stuff here right, the valves in the seat, well, I've said before, you're really taking a big loss, because this is very crucial. Now, I've mentioned this before. Just think what kind of performance loss we had in this head right here with these valves like that. I mean, the thing is almost filled in completely with carbon. The seat actually has carbon buildup on it. It's all bumpy. And of course, I have a kid across the street screaming, making noises now because I'm doing the segment. And you guys can probably hear that because he sounds like he's right in my garage and he's all the way across the street. But I just don't want you thinking somebody's getting hurt out here, guys. Like, oh, what was going on at his place? That's the only reason I'm mentioning it. But I'm going to try to do this with one hand. I want to show you guys just what goes on in the machining world, what guys go through that work as hard as my friend Ed. So, and it's not only just getting the stuff off, guys, this smells really good. So, yeah, I have no mask on. I'm not wearing one. And it fogs my glasses up because I've had people mention it to me. And I appreciate your concern, but that's why. It's not just because I'm naive. It's because I got to pick between being able to see what I'm doing and doing it. So anyway, we're going to try this real quick. I got to hold the phone with one hand and do this with one hand, guys, so give me a little bit of slack. I'm using heavy grit paper to get the heavy stuff off first. And I'm staying off where the seat would be for the most part. I'm trying not to round that off, of course. Sorry guys, trying to see what I'm doing here and hold the phone and just to give somebody an idea of what people go through behind the scenes a little bit. I think the machine shop guys are some of the most unappreciative people. All they hear is what we need done, and I don't think too many guys hear how good the cars run after they're done doing our work for us. So my hat's always off to them guys. Anything they do is not fun. It might be fun for a minute for somebody to try it, but when you do that day in and day out, believe me, it all works. So, I'm going to switch to this paper because this is a little bit finer. I hope I don't have you nervous, Ed, if you're watching this, because this is what I do, buddy. Nothing fancy here. I tell you guys all the time, if you're looking for pretty, you come to the wrong spot because I'm the prettiest thing you'll see. And I don't know if you've seen me before, but that's not a very beautiful thing. I wouldn't win any beauty pageant. So that's what I mean by that. So you can see how pitted these valves are. Now, I'm trying to save these things for my friend here, but we're just going to have to see, because they are pretty bad. And I mean, I have to get aggressive with these to get that out. So what do? Do I take the time to do all this myself and keep doing it like this? Or give him a call and tell him he's better off just getting a valve job and let them guys at the machine shop grind the seats in. I really like doing that myself. And there's only one reason for that, and that's because I don't know who would wind up doing the job on that. Now, if I had somebody like Ed, I would gladly hand them over and say, here you go, and not have to give it a second thought. But unfortunately, I hate to say it, we have some guys that do this right and some guys that do it very wrong. I mean, that's just how it is in any profession. And the guy we did have that I really, really like and that did a super job has been having health problems. So that's out the door for the time being. But I'm going to try to get some more of this off underneath here, guys, and then we'll take the valve out. So the carbon buildup, guys. Earlier I did this, and you guys know I get brain blocked a lot of times, so what I do, I took the valve out of the drill press here and found out that it was really hot. You wouldn't think it'd burn you guys using a piece of paper like this here, but the spout gets very, very hot. So then, I'm using this disc here, and it's one of the ones that have the backing on it where you can slap it on the Velcro backing. And then I can use that to polish it, the backing. Not to a perfect finish, I'm just saying that gets a lot of the residue off when you're trying to look at it. Valve don't look too well, does it? So, this one here looked the same as this one does. So, I get very aggressive with it. But you can see the difference. So, I think I'm going to be making a phone call, and maybe my friend here will see this on YouTube and call me and say, well, I think we need to go to the machine shop. But I want to see where he's going, because if he does do that, there's only a few people that I trust around this area. So, I thought I'd show you guys this, and I hope this might be helpful to somebody. And keep in mind, guys, I keep stressing about these hot spots. That's not just on the LS stuff, guys. That's on every head. Just some are better in areas, and some are worse. So, you use the same principle no matter what head you're doing. Just round off what you can and cut back what you can. Now, I will tell you this, if you cut too much off the combustion chambers and stuff like that, of course you're going to lose a little compression. But what you pick up in efficiency whenever you do stuff like this here, I'll guarantee you, you'll make it up in horsepower. And even if you lose a smidgen of compression. If you already have like a 9-to-1 motor and you're like, well, I don't want to lose that compression. I've seen so many guys, probably 80% of the guys will worry about that more than making the engine efficient. And when you get on that concept, you'll lose out, because the more efficient this combustion chamber is, the more horsepower you'll pick up. And believe me, there's nobody that worries about the combustion chamber being reduced down and losing compression more than I do. It's just that I know the other side of the coin. When you do the important mods, I know how much the engine picks up and how it responds to a very clean combustion chamber. So that's why I push this stuff out there, guys, like I do. You might think, that guy talks about that a lot. I do. But it's only because I think it's important, and I don't want to see somebody miss out on performance because they're worried about losing a little bit of compression. And so remember this, I'm on your side with that. And we have to pick and choose our battles sometimes. And this is more important than worried about cutting this little bit of clearance back around the valve here as far as the compression goes. So that's one reason these heads are going on, as far as I know, because these are ones with smaller combustion chambers, and he'll actually pick up compression by putting these on. So the last thing I would want to do is make this where he didn't pick up any compression, when that's one of the main reasons he went to this head. I don't know if he had the 317s on the motor before, but he said he had picked out these heads because of the reason of picking up compression. So I'm going to cut this loose, guys. I hope I showed you fellas something, and if you have any questions, just leave a little comment down there. And I do want to say, I've had a few people try to get a hold of me and asking me for emails and things like that. And I'm not set up right now. Something happened with my email. So I'm trying to get that fixed. And I think I'm going to set one up just for doing YouTube right here. That's what I'm working on now. And as soon as I get that straightened out, I'll be letting you guys know. And because I surely would like to hear from you guys. And I don't want to miss out on anything that you guys have to say to me that would want to get a hold of me that way. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this loose here and get back to work because I have a lot more to do. So have a good night, everybody, and thanks for taking time out of your day to watch what I'm up to. God bless you, everybody.